What's happening, people? It is your boy, Quarter Porter with Cheese, and we are going to do something a little different today. We're going to try to attempt to get through a podcast here on the channel, our first ever podcast. We're going to talk about a couple of subjects of interest, actually, three subjects to be exact. And I'm joined in the conversation here by this man, Billy, Crazy Crafter, and that man, Danielsplat.
RPG games that everyone's forgotten. So, well, no, they haven't. They haven't forgotten it. It's by Square Enix. It's a legit RPG game. Well, okay.
All right, so we're in here, and who you just heard on a small mini dialogue monologue was that man Danielsplat. We also have in here that man Crazy Crafter.
It was good.
And then we also have this man Billy Blade, the man of many names. And we're going to try to touch on a few hot topics for this month. Probably won't be that hot. They're probably already on their way to lukewarm to cold already at the time while we're recording the podcast. But I'm going to set up the first subject for us to discuss. And we're going to talk about this GameStop buyout. There's a couple of private firms that are looking at buying out GameStop. This could have some potential impact. GameStop is probably one of my most favorite haunts when it comes to going and buying games, just hanging out with a bunch of like-minded gamers, trying to go in there and see and peep out what's coming out next. But I did work there for probably about 5 or 6 months personally. The corporate scene and the background that you don't see most of the time when you go to GameStop was part of the reason why I left. And they've been having a little bit of a competition. So I'm going to open it up for these guys to talk about what their opinions are of the potential GameStop buyout.
I mean, I forget, what were the two companies talking about the buyout? I forget the two names of them.
I don't have them right here in front of me, but I know it was two private firms. They were like, I don't think they had anything to do with gaming in particular. They were just like kind of like some like they had them listed as like entities. So I'm not sure exactly what the background was on them.
But I mean, I think this can potentially help GameStop because I know that they're dealing with a lot of like they're not selling a lot of games. And I feel like someone that's going to buy, like if you're going to buy GameStop, then you're going to have a plan on how to make it, better and all that. But I just don't know what the name of the company is. Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah, and there was two of them, Bryce. Why are you looking it up? The one thing that I have to add on that, he did bring up a good point where they're probably going to have a plan of what they want to do with GameStop. But, there are some of those places that will buy a company just to close it. But personally, from personal experience, my dad worked at a corn wet milling plant where they process high fructose corn syrup. It's in sodas and such. And a larger company bought the company out that had ownership of the factory. And then they proceeded to shut it down probably a couple of years after that. I don't know what GameStop's capital is, but I know that I read an article where they're doing better in digital sales and stuff than they are actual physical sales, which is probably the bigger part of their business for a large portion of their existence. But people are starting to buy digital stuff, buy direct from the actual publishers and stuff like that.
And it says here Apollo Global Management at least it was rumored about them buying them.
Yeah, and there was another company, but I couldn't remember the name of it. But I did remember the Apollo name when I was reading one article.
It says Sycamore Partners? I don't know how to pronounce that. Those are the only two names that I'm given. But I mean, I don't think that they'd buy it just to shut it down, because then you'd be wasting money, buying a company just to shut it down and not make any money investing it.
Well, of
I
course you're
think
not
they're
gonna
probably
shut
gonna
it
have.
down. It's like GameStop. Everyone basically knows what GameStop is. It's iconic. They've had that. What is it? Their mascot, that one bunny rabbit thing. Pretty much sure everyone's like known that. When you couldn't, when you can't find a game at a certain store, like the next thing was either to go to GameStop because like it's in the name, GameStop, and and so like getting rid of it is pretty far fetched. I'm assuming they might just upgrade some stuff or just like what is it, shut down a few like GameStop locations that don't gain a lot of popularity in like certain areas or whatever. Because like again, it's like the online era. Everyone just goes online and buys the game instead of
Right.
driving into their car and stuff like that.
Right.
So we'll just like see a few GameStops. It's not like it's a huge termination. But most likely just gonna upgrade a few stuff.
And I believe GameStop is also like getting into other stuff. Like I know that recently some GameStops are starting to sell like comics. Not GameStops around me, but some
Okay.
GameStops are starting to sell them. And then there's a new like a geek type
Oh
of,
yeah, yeah.
or like GameStop culture, I think it's called, or pop, I don't know. But it's different from like your average GameStop. So they're starting to experiment with other things. But
Okay.
recently it hasn't been going well for them.
In my honest statement, I feel like GameStop is very like good, but however, it's like all the other companies like slowly trying to like create their own stores to like sell games. Like for example, GameFly. Like
I forgot
you
about
have a game where you
I
can
honestly
like
forgot about
get
GameFly.
like sure GameFly is still new, but like it's slowly going up there. And then plus, if people don't like buying the game physically, they can buy it digitally, which there were more people now doing these days. Cause like the one problem with physical copies that they always have the weird glitches, like from the Wii U version. It's like even if like right now I got Mario Kart 8 and Super Mario 3D World that just sit in my room just collecting dust basically because I can't play. Like nothing wrong with the disc and it just whenever
Bro,
you
all
buy the
my Wii U
physical
games are
copy of a
collecting
disc,
dust.
yeah. And like whenever I try to put in my Wii U, it's like it don't read the disc. That's a problem with physical copies. Like it kind of fail to read some disc, and people get really irritated. So they just buy the digital copy. Which I feel
I
like
was going.
with GameStop, like their biggest problem is like they try to sell some of physical copies of games, and then like when you try to go trade them back, you're not getting that much of what you think you should get. Like you're not getting the full price of a game that should have gotten. Like you can literally go into GameStop and buy a new Smash Bros. Ultimate game. I could say you wait a good like 30 days, and then like they can only give you half a price off. I feel like that's literally not what you deserve to get. I feel like should
Now,
you
if
still get the
you
full price? I mean, that's just my understatement. And
now
the
if you
game's
think
still
about it,
brand new.
if you think about it, you're not gaining any money from there. If GameStop were to give you like the full price back, you're not. Again, you're not gaining any money from that. You're basically losing money at that point. Because like, if I were able to like get all my Nintendo games and all that were $60, I'd have about $1,000 worth of games, and I'd go down there and they like imagine you being an owner of a store and giving someone back $1,000. Like you're not gonna do
Like,
that.
okay, like I understand what Daniel's saying. Like for example, Wii Sport. Of course, that game gonna cost like a penny now. Like, of course, I'm not really worried about a game costing a penny, but like some new games, I feel like they deserve like you get that more than what they deserve. But at the same time, I feel like I know why games start doing it because like they slowly like losing money and their budget kind of going down because like the company is not looking so good from 2017 2018 because like more and more people are starting to buy digital games on their consoles and not the physical copy.
Yeah, now I was going to say along the digital line that there's a lot of incentives that they're starting to throw out now for buying a digital copy, pre-ordering a digital copy. Nintendo's been, from our experience, they push preload. You get double gold coins back on the purchase when you preload it. So I mean, if I'm gonna go buy a copy of a game, I can just go pick up the digital copy and get double gold coins back, and actually use it in the shop where I actually flip through some of the indie titles and whatnot. I may go into GameStop maybe like 3 or 4 times a year, so I'm not actually in the store enough to bring myself back and forth, to go in there and buy something every single time when it comes out. So I mean, like, yeah, they're losing business, straight from the eShops and like PlayStation Store, Xbox, whatever. I guess they have like a Xbox store or whatever. But I mean,
Yeah.
they're losing business from there, And then Billy brought up GameFly, a rental place, for those people that may be on the fence about a game, and they want to try it out before they buy it. They can go to GameFly and not have to, plunk down a whole wad of cash, buying a game that they're going to turn around and, like he said, get half of what you paid back at the end of it. Speaking along that line of games, let's switch over to the big debate in the Smash scene. With Smash Ultimate coming out on the Switch, there's a lot of complaints already about Nintendo Switch Online. Y'all know my complaints about Nintendo Switch Online,
Okay.
and I mean some of y'all have experienced the lag and stuff. There's been a big debate on whether you should have a LAN adapter requirement to play online Smash. So I'm gonna throw this to y'all guys because this is a big hot topic right now.
Okay,
I'm gonna let y'all guys take the
started.
floor on this one.
Let me get started. Don't let me. Okay, I am currently. Don't get me wrong. I am currently playing Smash. I'm not playing it, but I
Everyone's
just
playing
maintaining.
Smash.
And what this is how I feel. If you know you're gonna lag, if you know your Wi-Fi sucks, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to get the LAN. Like, you can ask your mom and dad to get the Switch. You can ask your mom and dad pay a good 20, $30 for a LAN adapter. Like, it's really not that difficult. Like, for example, I know Porter be having these tournaments, and everyone is known from Tony for him be lagging
Tony
so
Net.
much. And Tony, I'm not saying your internet is super. I'm just saying like you just need a LAN adapter, at least stabilize the internet, because it's the internet, bro. Like everybody gonna lag. Either way you put it, like even if you get a LAN, it just decreases your chance of lagging, but you still gonna lag. It probably be like the 95% chance of you not lagging, and then the little 5% of you possibly lagging. Like that's the whole point of LAN adapters for, like, so that way you don't gotta play in lag and people don't gotta join and say, "Oh, I only lost because of lag" and everything like that. Cause I'm not gonna lie, I play Smash since Smash 4, and I play many good people. It's some people who won with Ryaki. And then some
Dang.
people like Ryaki is good in this game, but
Nah, this
Smash
ain't
4
about
is
Rocky.
lacking.
This is not about Rocky. Stay on track.
I know, I'm my fault. But anyway, when it comes to having a LAN adapter, I feel like most, unless your internet is really good to the point where you don't need a LAN adapter almost like 90% of the time, or possibly at the least 70%, then I recommend you need to go in and get that LAN adapter now. So that way you can play on stable internet, stable connection, and you can play smooth battle on Smash. So that way you don't gotta worry about dying like 0% in Smash Bros just because of lag.
Well, to add to what Billy's saying, and that man was name dropping like a mug on that one on that little bit. But basically, this is where I think. I mean, the cost that you already pay for the Switch Online, whether you pay for a year or a few months or a month at a time, it doesn't matter. The investment that you put into a LAN adapter for the type of game that Smash is, with a lot of data that you need to put on basically out into the to the ether sphere for Smash, because you're putting inputs, your characters moving on the screen, and especially if you're playing at high level competitive, you're not just going to be putting in like small, like a couple of inputs here or there. So you need to have your internet connection as fast as possible. because
Yeah.
the other person is going to be doing the same thing you're doing if they're somewhat competent at the game. So to me, this is the only game that you would need on the Switch that I've seen so far that you need a LAN adapter for. Like
Yeah.
I'm not
But
saying like that to say that oh well Wi-Fi your 5G Wi-Fi connection or
Wi-Fi,
whatever
hot
isn't
Wi-Fi
going to
is
work,
yeah, RM
but
Dragon Billy, stupid.
oh that man
wow.
dipped. What happened to this man?
Keeps moving in and out, bro. I'm about to punch him for it.
Well, I don't necessarily think that you need like if you have good Wi-Fi, then I don't think that you need a LAN adapter, like just to make sure. Like if you know that you're getting like what 50 megabits per second, then you don't need a LAN adapter. It'll be fine if you have one, but I
Well,
don't.
the Switch caps your speed connection at a certain speed, but like with the LAN adapter, it gives you more down and up. I noticed that with the test that I did. So I mean that was just from what I saw. But like I said, it at the same time, where you may have a fast connection with Wi-Fi. Well, let's say what about the other person that you're battling against? Who may not have that same quality connection. I mean, most of the time you can get around that by having friends that have a Switch. What their internet situation is at home or whatever. So
Right.
whenever y'all aren't at face to face, y'all know what each other is dealing with. Or do you have like Smash boards or whatever Smash online community that you use to find matches and such, and you can find people that have LAN adapters or good connections or what. But I mean, for the most part, if you're serious about playing Smash, most people will tell you that they'll be like get a LAN adapter if you're gonna be playing online, to try to actually get better. Like you're not
Well,
just gonna be playing around, because they're serious about it.
well, I also feel like a way that Nintendo can fix like good players that don't want to play with people that have lag, is putting a ping, like a ping cap. Like when you're doing matchmaking, you'll be able to put how the max ping that you'll or the amount of ping that you have to play with that specific person. So if you have like a higher ping, then you wouldn't be able to play. You know what I mean? Like I know that some games have that
Yeah,
where
Yeah.
you can set a ping, and if you don't meet the requirements, then you won't be able to match up with that person. I feel like that will fix it for sure.
so for what we've said, from like what I gather, I'm on board with the LAN adapter. Billy says if your internet is garbage, to get a LAN adapter. Bryce says he doesn't believe it's
I'm gonna say it
necessary.
depends.
Yeah, it's basically dependent on the person's connection. What do you think, Daniel?
Honestly, if we're just looking at this from a viewer's point of playing, like with important games, what is it? Like you will run into players who will complain about LAN adapters, also the other thing I have to think about is that not a lot of people, like Bryce said, like really need one because like it's a long cord and some people like to stay wired free. But like
Right.
I think Nintendo should add it in because Nintendo has all that money. Recently they won like a court case. I don't see what the problem is, okay? Because like we all know that money is just sitting there catching cold. Like it's cold right now. It was hot, but it's cold. That's cold money, and that money could be put to good use and everything. And I just feel like they're most of the times they're taking advantage of people, and it takes like a million people to say something to get it through their thick skull. But like honestly, like I think it should come with one. That's what I feel like is okay.
I
Because
think it.
I don't mind.
I think the thing that they did wrong with the Switch was not putting not even a LAN adapter with it, but not putting an Ethernet cord. Like
Yeah.
the Wii U could have had that. Could have had like just a straight up Ethernet cord, so you wouldn't have to buy a LAN adapter. All you need is an Ethernet cord, and pretty much everyone has an Ethernet cord these days. So all you need to do is just get an Ethernet cord, and you'll be good. Instead of just getting a LAN adapter, because I don't think the Switch supports all of the LAN adapters. Like I think you need like a special firmware update or whatever. Because I know the Wii U was like that. Because my LAN adapter that I use on my Switch doesn't even work on my Wii U. so I have to go wireless.
Ah, okay. So yeah, and from what it sounds like is what Nintendo should have did was a bit of foresight. And
Right.
what I've always heard about Nintendo is that they in Japan, well, of course they have really good Wi-Fi, so I mean, like their internet connections are pristine, basically compared to ours. Like we have a larger amount of distance for us as Americans to play against. We can play against people from the West Coast, the East Coast, all the way across the continent. Japan's a relatively small country, so like there's not a lot of they probably have like good internet connection because like it's probably not like a bunch of companies
Yeah. And it'll be
competing.
less
There
money.
might be, and yeah. So like there, and then with that, when they design it, they're thinking about probably they're somewhat thinking about the American market, which was made what made the Switch unique in itself because we're big home console market. Whereas Japan's they're portable. They're like big on taking their gaming on the go. So the Switch is unique because it has the appeal to both markets at the same time. But like they're Nintendo's really big about cutting corners and costs, so that they can try to market the system at a affordable price range. So I'm assuming that the LAN adapter exclusion or just even a plug-in Ethernet connection was probably a cost measure. But then if you want to use this, then you can pay the rather small buy-in price, whether what it costs to get you a LAN adapter. Like I got mine for like I think it was like 13, $14
Yeah, they're
because
cheap.
I caught it on clearance at a store, and I was like, whoa, I'm gonna pick this up because I knew it was normally like 26, so I picked it up for like half price, and I was like, sweet. But yeah, so the big thing is y'all we came away with the thought that it was dependent on what kind of connection you have, and most people will be honest with their connections. There'll be some people in denial about
Tails.
about how good their connections are. But well, let's move on to this last topic here. This one is going to be take us out of the gaming world. We're going to go into the actual real world
No.
situation going on at the border between United States and Mexico. Our President Trump, has been trying to push. That was one of the things that he pushed in his presidential campaign was getting a wall built between Mexico and southern United States. Once it took him a little while to get the thing going, but like now that he put the proposal through and the Congress was like, we ain't building your wall. You can get that out of here. And that man's like, all right, I'm gonna shut down the government.
Right?
So this man legit shut down the government over the wall and budgeting. So like now there's like a lot of people that aren't working. There's a lot of people that are like at work and they're not being paid because they're basically government employees, but they still have to go to work because it's like a need for them to be there. So let me know what you guys think about the government shutdown. What's your thoughts on the shutdown of the government and how it's affecting things that may be going on around you, or just what you think about it in general?
I mean, I'm not really affected by the government shutdown because I don't work for the government. But I feel like Trump really was on some sicko mode when he decided to do this. Because the way the government works is that they constantly need to be paid in order to get like the major businesses and all that up and running. And if you're not getting the money, then the government's not going to be able to provide services. So what Trump decided to do was he was like, all right, let me take this money and build the wall. But it ended like he had to force it. Like he ended up just shutting down the government just to build the wall. And I think it was like $1 billion that he took in order to at least get it up and running. And that ended up causing the government to shut down. And
Honestly,
now,
yeah, you can finish.
no, go ahead.
But like, this is where this is the one thing that just like makes me mad, because you have like a lot of people like within poverty, healthcare issues and stuff like that. But like he makes it sound as if, yo, this wall is gonna solve our problems, bro.
It's
No,
really
it
not,
won't. People are still gonna dig under. They're gonna find more ways, and it's just so stupid because like
It's not even
America
that.
is already in debt. The last thing they need is a wall. Is a wall. Okay, the last thing they need is a wall because like, I understand illegal people coming over to what is it? To like sell drugs or whatever, still stereotypes are or something like that. But they also forgot that. Tell me why before these elections happened and stuff like that, they wanted other people to vote for them. Tell me why. And now they're all like, no, go back to your country, ugly. And I'm just all like, bro. And the thing about that is, do you see the conditions those people are facing who have crossed over? They are in cages.
Right.
What is that? 2 children have died making their way over here. Are you serious? No, but we gotta build that wall, you know? Like,
Right, we gotta build the wall.
we gotta build that wall. And not just only that, it's gotten to the point that after this government shutdown, like, there's a park in Washington, D.C. being neglected. It is, like, disgusting. There are
Is it
people
really?
yes. It's like trash is overfilling and stuff like that. Again, if no one's
Yeah,
getting
because
paid,
most of
I'm
the
not showing
services
to
have
work.
been shut down. Nobody's
Yeah.
showing up to work.
It's like, if I'm not getting
It's
paid,
like, if I'm not getting paid, then I'm not gonna show up.
Legit TSA agents, my boys in blue are not checking stuff. They don't care. They ain't getting paid. Bro, I swear, this is like a perfect time for like another disaster to happen. Because tell me why, when a giant disaster happens in America, everyone comes together and holds hands and sings "Kumbaya." But as soon as it's over, we start like murking each other. I was like, oh my god, man, shoot. It's just so disgusting because like yes, there are flaws and stuff like that, and that's another thing. Like, I'm kind of grateful that what is it? Trump is at least in office because, like, if he wasn't, either Mike Pence or Hillary would have been up. And Mike Pence is the worst out of all of them, bro. I'm being 100% honest. Like, you will, like, oh my god,
I mean,
there's
they're all
so
pretty
many
bad.
changes. Bro, like, okay, like, I know people, like, hate him. Hate's a strong word, because I don't use that hate. You're just stupid. You stupid, okay? You stupid.
Bro,
Alright?
I feel like
Think.
what's it called? I feel like Trump is so like focused on building this wall that he's neglecting what's happening actually inside the country, like racism
Exactly.
and all that stuff. Like he thinks that building a wall is gonna solve racism. Like what? Building a wall is not gonna solve racism that's happening inside the country. You know what I mean? Unless you're gonna build a wall around like each state, which still isn't gonna solve anything.
Oh, goodness,
It's just. Yeah, he just goofed.
And
That's all I'm gonna say.
The funny part that made me mad is like this isn't a deal with the wall, but just like kind of like contributes and just how stupid people are. So like about a couple months ago, Trump invited Kanye over, and they started like discussing a bunch of stuff. And like I want Trump to understand, Kanye does not represent the black community.
He does not.
No, stupid, bro.
Kanye
This
is
is
on
what.
sicko mode.
Yeah, if this is what Trump supporters look like, I don't even want to shake their hands, bro. Because that is disgusting. Y'all are like, what is it? He lied to everybody. He was like, yo, coal miners, I'm gonna get y'all so much work to do. Tell me why they're getting shut down. Tell me why, bro. You were lying to. No need to lie, bro. Just be honest. That's all it takes. He uses like the same. Oh my god, he's just like a kindergartner using the same big word over and over again, and he doesn't even know what it means. Oh shoot, he's lucky he has advisories next to him, bro. He would like already get lost, man.
Man, my boy Daniel came through on this subject, my boy. I was just sitting back. I was like, hold up, this man came through. He was ready for this one.
Does Billy have anything? Does Billy have anything to
I
say?
think Billy died, my boy. That
Billy was
man,
gone after the land.
Trump plays Smash, bro.
that man went through the subjects on the two gaming subjects. That man bounced out on the last one. He was like, let me get out of here.
Let me put myself on mute real quick.
Yeah, but my boys, in our closing comments, y'all, what do y'all think about this this thing right here? We might have to extend the timeout because like we're right up against the 30-minute time. So let me know what y'all guys think. What do y'all think about about the subjects. What do we need? Do we need to do more gaming stuff next time, or what?
Nah,
What do y'all
games
think?
is fair,
Because I know that man Bryce has one for us. He has a good one for us
Yeah,
for
I got some.
Netflix. He got some. He
Netflix,
got some
bro,
topics. So the
Disney's about
Netflix
to go
one, though.
in. That's a whole nother day.
Yeah, that big one, that Netflix one. I'm interested to talk about that one too, because with all these companies pulling their exclusive titles and stuff and putting them on their own streaming services, what's going to happen to Netflix once like Disney pulls all of its stuff because it has all the Marvel stuff. So they're going to start pulling that stuff off and then putting it on to a Disney streaming service. So, and that's like a big thing with Netflix though, because like Disney was like, you get ready to watch like Black Panther or something, it's gonna be on Netflix later on this year. I'll catch you on Netflix or something.
That's me right now.
So like, what's gonna happen to like all the Marvel stuff, and then like I said, Disney, all your Disney shows are gonna be on the Disney
They're about
streaming
to
service.
put all the Disney shows on there.
So I'm like, what's about to happen to Netflix? Another thing that we might talk about next time. Y'all think about this one. We got all these games coming out in 2019. Which one of these games that you've seen on any console that's caught your eye for this 2019 year? I can already tell y'all which one I want. And which one got me.
And Animal Crossing.
All right, so and it's not even either one of those two. I want y'all to think about these four letters: F F C C remastered. All right, so. If you don't know what that is, I want you to get on the search and look for FFCC whenever this podcast is over.
It's Final Fantasy.
So I appreciate you guys being out here for the fledgling podcast. That man Bryce, aka CC, Crazy Crafter, and that man Danielsplat, also known as Daniel, just straight up Daniel, without no ice, no nothing, just straight Daniel. And then that man Billy was in here for about 2 seconds, and then that man he just had to get his piece off about the LAN adapter, Nintendo Switch. He wanted to say what he had to say on that, and then he bounced out. But thank you guys for listening to our little podcast. Hopefully we'll be able to get these guys in here and probably bring in a couple of new people into the next podcast. We'll try to get some music in on this thing next time. I'll try to get a little more professional on the next one. Thank y'all guys for listening, and we'll catch y'all guys in the next one. Daniel, hit me with that I quit.
I quit.